Afodi thought the miracle had ended. But power does not disappear quietly. One last wish, one hidden choice. And a secret that would tear a family apart forever. The Christmas afternoon I will never forget, Part 3.
The days that followed were quiet, but the silence was heavy. Poverty returned gently, like a visitor who never truly left. The food in the kitchen reduced. Baba Afodi's shop sold little. Neighbors laughed again. Life resumed its normal rhythm, yet Afodi's mind refused to move forward. He watched everything closely. One afternoon, Afodi decided to examine the blue faded shirt properly. He spread it on the floor and looked at it like a hunter studying footprints. He checked the collar. He checked the sleeves. He checked the buttons. Everything looked ordinary. Too ordinary. Then his eyes moved to the small tin where Baba Afodi kept loose items. Needles. Old keys. And the cufflinks. Afodi's heart skipped. He picked them up slowly. They were cheap, dull, and scratched, yet suddenly they looked important. His memory rushed back clearly. Christmas afternoon. The supermarket. The car shop. The phone store. He had worn the cufflinks that day. On the day the miracle returned with the school bag and shoes, he had worn them too. But on the days nothing happened, he had not worn them. Afodi stood up quickly and ran to his father. "Daddy," he said, trying to control his voice, "I remember something." Baba Afodi looked at him calmly. "What now?" "The cufflinks," Afodi said. "I didn't wear them on the days the miracle stopped." The father waved his hand dismissively. "Afodi, stop this. We have tried enough. Let us rest." "But Daddy," Afodi insisted, "I think the cufflinks matter." Baba Afodi shook his head. "Do not chase shadows. Some things are coincidence." Afodi kept quiet, but his heart was racing. That night, he could not sleep. He replayed the days again and again, matching moments carefully. Every miracle day had cufflinks. Every empty day had none. He stared at the tin under the dim light. The cufflinks reflected a faint glow. Nothing supernatural. Nothing obvious. "Can something this small carry such power?" he whispered. Outside, generators hummed. Dogs barked. The night moved slowly. Afodi placed the cufflinks back carefully, like fragile eggs. He did not tell his siblings. He did not tell his friends. He kept the thought locked inside his chest. The next morning, Baba Afodi repeated his warning. "No more investigation. Live your life." Afodi nodded respectfully. But deep inside him, a decision was growing. If the cufflinks were the missing key, then one careful test would reveal the truth. If they were not, then the mystery would finally die. Afodi lay down again, staring at the ceiling. Hope and fear wrestled inside him. And neither was ready to lose. Life did not wait for mysteries to be solved. Hunger returned boldly to the Afodi house, knocking like an uninvited guest. The bags of food from the miracle days finished one after another. The children began to ask questions again. "What are we eating today? Is there soup?" Mama Afodi answered with tired smiles and empty promises. Baba Afodi's shop grew quieter. Customers passed without stopping. Coins refused to gather in his hands. Each evening, he returned home with the same worried face Afodi knew too well. The miracle felt like a sweet dream that ended too quickly. Afodi watched everything silently. One afternoon, the younger children cried from hunger. Mama Afodi sat on a stool, staring into an empty pot. Baba Afodi rubbed his face in frustration. Afodi felt pain tighten his chest. His heart wanted to wish again, but fear stopped him. What if nothing happened? What if he was wrong? His eyes drifted toward the small tin where the cufflinks rested. He remembered his father's words. "Stop investigating." He remembered the fear in his mother's eyes when miracles first came. He remembered the whispers of neighbors. Power, if real, was dangerous. Yet hunger was also dangerous. That night, Afodi lay awake listening to stomachs growl in the darkness. The room smelled of dry wood and tired bodies. His siblings slept restlessly. He turned from side to side, battling thoughts. If it works, he whispered, we will eat. If it does not, another voice answered, nothing will change. The cufflinks remained silent. The next day, Afodi followed his father to the market, wearing an ordinary shirt. He wished quietly. They waited. Nothing happened. Traders packed up their goods. The sun went down slowly. Disappointment followed them home again. Baba Afodi sighed deeply. You see, he said gently. Let us accept life. Afodi nodded, but his heart disagreed. That evening, he removed the blue faded shirt from the nail. He touched the cloth. He touched the cufflinks. His hands trembled. He did not wear them. Not yet. He only held them, feeling their cold metal against his palm. What if I am wrong? He whispered. The house grew quiet. A distant church song floated through the air. Afodi closed his eyes and breathed deeply. Somewhere inside him, courage slowly rose. If there was truth in his thoughts, then fear would not stop it. If there was no truth, then he would finally rest. That night, hunger and hope sat together in the Afodi house, waiting for the next move. Afodi did not tell anyone what he planned to do. Not his mother. Not his siblings. Not even his father. The thought stayed locked inside his chest, growing quietly like a seed buried in the soil. Each time he looked at the cufflinks, his heart beat faster. Each time he remembered hunger, his courage grew stronger. That morning, Afodi woke up early. The house was quiet. His siblings were still asleep. Mama Afodi was outside sweeping the compound. Baba Afodi had already gone to open his shop. Afodi stood alone in the room. He took the blue faded shirt from the nail. He shook it gently. Dust rose and settled. He wore it slowly, carefully, as if dressing for something important. His hands trembled slightly. Then he opened the small tin and brought out the cufflinks. He stared at them for a long moment. Let this be the last test, he whispered. He fixed the cufflinks onto the shirt, adjusting them until they sat properly. His heart pounded loudly in his ears. He felt nothing special. No heat. No cold. No voice. Just fear and hope standing side by side. Afodi stepped outside. The sun was already rising over Ajigono. People moved about as usual. Children played. Traders shouted. Life continued, unaware of the quiet battle inside one small boy. Afodi walked alone toward the market. Each step felt heavy. Each breath felt loud. His eyes moved from shop to shop. Rice. Beans. Tomatoes. Meat. He wished quietly, the same way he always did. Not loudly. Not forcefully. Just a simple wish. Then he waited. 5 minutes passed. Nothing happened. 10 minutes passed. Still nothing. Afodi swallowed hard. Doubt crept into his heart. Maybe Daddy is right, he whispered. Maybe it is nothing. He turned to leave. That was when he heard footsteps behind him. His heart stopped. Someone cleared their throat. Afodi froze. Slowly, he turned around. The man standing there smiled gently. Afodi's breath caught in his throat. He did not run. He did not speak. He only watched. The man lifted his hand slightly, as if about to speak. Afodi's knees weakened. In that moment, Afodi knew one thing clearly. Whatever was behind the mystery had returned. And it was not finished with him. The morning air felt heavy. The market noise faded. Afodi's world narrowed to that single moment, standing between fear and truth. The answer he had been searching for was finally stepping forward. And he was not ready for what would follow. The man stood before Afodi, calm and quiet, as if he had been there all along. His clothes were simple. His face carried no surprise. Only a gentle smile rested on his lips. Afodi felt his heart beating so loudly that he feared the man could hear it. "Good morning," the man said softly. "Good morning, sir," Afodi replied, his voice shaking. The man looked at Afodi's shirt. His eyes moved slowly from the collar to the sleeves. Then he nodded, as if confirming something only he understood. Without saying another word, the man reached into his shop and brought out a small bag. "Take this," he said. Afodi froze. "Sir, why?" The man smiled again. "I don't know. I just felt pushed." Afodi's hands trembled as he collected the bag. Inside were food items, rice, oil, seasoning, and a small pack of meat. Exactly what his family needed. "Thank you, sir," Afodi whispered. The man waved his hand gently. "Go home." Afodi did not wait. He ran. He ran through the street. He ran past neighbors. He ran until his chest burned. When he reached home, he burst inside, breathing heavily. "Daddy," he shouted. Baba Afodi rushed out. "What is it?" Afodi dropped the bag on the floor. "Daddy, it worked." The father opened the bag slowly. His hands shook. His eyes widened. He sank onto a stool. "The shirt," he asked quietly. "And the cufflinks," Afodi replied. Silence filled the room. Baba Afodi stood up suddenly. "Remove them. Now." Afodi removed the cufflinks immediately. "Tomorrow," Baba Afodi said firmly, "we will test it properly. Together." Afodi nodded. That night, nobody slept. The cufflinks sat on the table between father and son, reflecting the dim light. Mama Afodi watched quietly, fear in her eyes. The children slept, unaware of the storm forming around them. "Whatever this thing is," Baba Afodi said slowly, "we must understand it. Power without understanding is dangerous." "Yes, Daddy," Afodi replied. As dawn approached, Afodi stared at the cufflinks again. He wondered how something so small could carry something so heavy. His heart was filled with questions, fear, and curiosity. One thing was clear now. The miracles were real. They were not imagination. They were not coincidence. And they were not finished. As the morning light touched Ajigona, Afodi made a silent promise to himself. The next test would reveal everything. And when the truth finally showed itself, nothing in his life would ever remain the same again. Afodi woke before the sun, his heart already awake. The night's question still walked inside his chest. He was now sure. Not guessing. Not hoping. The cufflinks were the key. Still, he wanted no doubt to remain, because doubt is a thief of peace. That morning, Baba Afodi refused to follow him again. "My son, I am tired," he said. "Let me rest my head." Mama Afodi agreed to go instead. She tied a simple gown, covered her hair, and followed Afodi quietly. Afodi did not wear the blue faded shirt. He chose a brown shirt instead. Slowly, carefully, he fixed the cufflinks onto the sleeves. The metal caught the light. His fingers shook. Mama Afodi watched closely but asked no questions. They walked to the supermarket together. Shelves stood tall. Lights were bright. Afodi's heart beat fast. He saw a large smart television. 60 inches. Clear and shining. He saw a refrigerator beside it, tall and white. He said nothing aloud. He only wished. They waited. 10 minutes passed. 15 minutes passed. Mama Afodi shifted her feet. Then a wealthy man approached. His clothes were neat. His face was calm. "Young boy," he said, "I don't know why, but I am moved to help you." He pointed. "That television and that refrigerator. Take them." Mama Afodi screamed. Her hands flew to her head. "God of heaven," she shouted. People gathered. Afodi stood still, breathing hard. The man paid and walked away. On the way home, Mama Afodi cried and laughed together. It is real, she kept saying. It is real. At home, the family gathered. Baba Afodi listened carefully. Afodi showed the cufflinks. Silence followed. They agreed quickly. Use it once more. Get what is needed. Then throw it away. Power without knowledge is dangerous. That night, plans were made. A better shop for Baba Afodi. A large warehouse for Mama Afodi's rice business. Comfort, not pride. Enough, not excess. Far away, in Ogun State, another story moved. A bald man named Femi returned from captivity. Months earlier, he had visited a powerful herbalist. He was given magical cufflinks, packed carefully, meant to bring fortune. On his way home, kidnappers took him. Everything was lost. When Femi returned to the herbalist, fear followed him. The man checked his calabash. 10 days remain, he said. When the power expires, calamity follows the user. Femi cried. He had not touched the cufflinks. But somewhere else, in Nigeria, another family already had. The thread of fate tightened quietly, unseen by all. What one man lost, another carried unknowingly. Time was counting, power was aging, and choices were lining up like drums before a festival. The next days would not forgive mistakes, and mercy would demand wisdom, patience, and restraint. Somewhere between hunger and hope, a family stepped forward, unaware that an ending had already begun, watching them closely, breathing softly, waiting. The story moved toward darkness, light, and judgment, without warning, for everyone involved, thereafter. Morning broke with new confidence in the Afodi house. The fear that once lived in their walls had stepped outside. The cufflinks lay quietly on the table, small, dull, and harmless in appearance, yet heavy with promise. Baba Afodi stared at them for a long time before speaking. We must be careful, he said. Rain that falls too fast can flood the land. They agreed on rules. No shouting wishes. No greed. Only what was needed to stand firm in life. Afodi listened carefully, nodding like an elder. Mama Afodi tied her wrapper tightly. Her eyes shone with purpose. That day, Afodi wore the brown shirt again. He fixed the cufflinks carefully. Baba Afodi followed him, quiet and watchful. They walked to the business district, where shops stood shoulder to shoulder like stubborn brothers. Baba Afodi wished for a proper supermarket. Shelves full. Lights bright. Customers plenty. They waited. A man approached before 15 minutes passed. He spoke politely. Sir, I am selling my supermarket. Something tells me it belongs to you. The price was spoken. Another man appeared. He paid. Baba Afodi sat down. Next, Mama Afodi went with Afodi to the grain market. Tall bags of rice. Gari stacked high. She wished for a large warehouse and capital to fill it. Again, they waited. Again, strangers arrived. Keys were handed over. Papers signed. Money exchanged without struggle. By evening, life had shifted. Days followed quickly. Each day, one careful wish. A furnished bungalow. Clean walls. Solid roof. Beds for all the children. Shoes that fit. Clothes that matched. Books that smelled new. The children laughed freely, like birds released from a cage. Neighbors watched in silence. Baba Afodi warned again. Enough soon, he said. We must stop before stopping becomes impossible. Mama Afodi agreed, though her heart danced. Afodi remained quiet, watching the cufflinks closely. He felt their weight change, as if time was chewing on them slowly. Far away in Ogun State, Femi's fear grew daily. The herbalist's words echoed in his head. 10 days. He searched old paths. He begged drivers. He asked traders. No cufflinks appeared. Nights refused him sleep. Back in Nigeria, the Afodi family counted their blessings. The shop flourished. The warehouse filled. Peace returned to their meals. Baba Afodi finally spoke the final decision. Tomorrow, we end it. They chose a bush path, hidden and forgotten. Afodi removed the cufflinks slowly. Mama Afodi turned her face away. Baba Afodi dug the earth. The cufflinks disappeared beneath soil and leaves. The ground was smooth. Traces were cleared. They walked home lighter. That night, Afodi slept deeply for the first time in weeks. The house was quiet. Wealth had come like rain, sudden and heavy. But unknown to them all, rain does not only water crops. It also awakens buried seeds, forgotten roots, and hidden dangers waiting patiently beneath the ground, counting days, counting breaths, counting mistakes, until the right moment arrives. For some weeks, joy lived fully in the Afodi house. The bungalow stood strong and proud. The supermarket shone with light and customers. Mama Afodi's warehouse stayed full, stacked with bags of rice and gari like a promise kept. The children dressed well and walked with confidence. Hunger no longer knocked at their door. Baba Afodi thanked God every morning. Afodi returned to school with proper books and shoes. Peace seemed settled. The cufflinks were gone. Buried deep in a bush path no one used. Or so everyone believed. Life slowed into routine. Business continued, but the excitement faded gently. That was when Mama Afodi began to notice a change. Customers still came, yet her heart was not satisfied. She sold goods, but joy did not follow. Each evening, she counted money and frowned. Something was missing. She said nothing to anyone. Baba Afodi was content. Afodi was calm. The children laughed freely. But Mama Afodi's eyes often drifted toward the road, toward the bush path, toward thoughts she did not speak aloud. Far away in Ogun State, Femi's days were running out. The herbalist warned him again. Power and use still expires. When it ends, calamity seeks whoever last touched it. Fear clung to Femi like heat. He prayed, fasted, and waited, powerless. Back in Ajigonau, Mama Afodi's desire grew quietly. She remembered how fast things came. How easy wishes turned to gifts. She remembered the feeling of control. Of certainty. Of having enough and more. One evening, while others slept, she opened her wrapper. Carefully. Inside were small signs she had kept. Broken twigs. A folded leaf. Tiny stones. Marks she had left behind when they buried the cufflinks. Her heart beat fast. I will only look, she whispered. Days later, she left early, telling no one. She followed the hidden path. The earth still looked the same, but her sign spoke clearly to her. She dug with trembling hands. The cufflinks appeared. They looked unchanged. Quiet. Waiting. Mama Afodi held them tightly. She felt power rush into her chest like hot breath. She did not tell her husband. She did not tell Afodi. She told herself it was only once. Only to help business grow faster. She went straight to the market. She saw goods she wanted. Bigger supplies. More profit. She wished. She waited. 10 minutes passed. Then her word bent. Her laughter broke into screams. Her steps turned wide. Traders scattered. Mama Afodi ran, shouting words no one understood. She disappeared into the crowd, into streets, into silence. She never returned. The bush swallowed its secret again. The cufflinks vanished with her. At home, confusion turned to fear. Search turned to sorrow. Days turned to months. Mama Afodi was gone forever. Baba Afodi wept. Afodi understood too late. Power without patience destroys. Greed opens doors wisdom closes. And slow, honest labor remains the safest road to peace. The moral of the story is this: hard work and patience build wealth that lasts, but shortcuts borrowed from power you do not understand can destroy everything you love. Greed begins quietly, yet it grows fast enough to silence wisdom and blind the heart. True prosperity comes from honest labor, self-control, and knowing when to stop. Thanks for watching this folktale till the end. If you enjoyed the story, please like, share, and leave a comment to tell us what lesson touched your heart the most. Don't forget to subscribe and press the notification bell so you never miss another African folktale.